Now, if I were a betting man, I'd say that the approach that you're currently using to conduct the interview with the future boss is actually the same one you're using when you're conducting the interview with the HR person. Now, if I'm right, and this is exactly what you are doing, you and about 99% of the other guys out there are doing the exact same thing. And simply put, you're pretty much a one-trick pony and it's hurting you guys big time. I'm going to share with you guys a completely different approach, probably a huge mind shift. And if you do this right, you're actually going to see a significant decrease in the rejection rate during the hiring process. Guys, you don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Brian back at you with another video where my goal is to help you guys create a career and life that you're proud of. And if this is your first time here, know that I give you guys job search tips, tricks, as well as career growth strategies and insights from my experience behind company lines. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you want me to tackle your question for a future video, let me know in the comments section below. Guys, let me ask you this. What is the #1 rule when it comes to giving a great presentation, or when it comes to persuasion or getting buy-in? The answer to that question is that you have to know your audience. And when it comes to getting hired, you have to realize there's not just one audience type. You can actually have several. I mean, think about it. You've got the outside recruiter, the company HR manager, the hiring manager, but you've also got the applicant tracking system, otherwise known as the ATS. And on top of that, you might actually have other managers or other leaders involved in the hiring process, especially if you're gunning after an executive role. And that's like 5 audience types right there. And the classic mistake that you're probably making or assuming is that one approach will work for all of those different types of audiences. That's a huge problem for you, and that's probably why you're getting rejected. So let's just make things a little bit simpler and use an example. We'll have one audience type, which is the outside recruiter, and the other audience type as the hiring manager. And remember, like I said, you have to appreciate and know who the audience is. So let's look at it from the perspective of the outside recruiter. They're motivated to find a suitable candidate as fast as possible. Remember, the outside recruiter doesn't get paid unless the company actually makes the hire, which also means that the recruiters don't actually read your resume because they have hundreds, if not thousands of resumes to go through. They can barely skim them, and what they want to do is interview you right away to see if they can put you in front of the hiring manager. For them, it's all about time. They want to get that placement as fast as possible. In addition to that, they need to make sure that you're within the company's budget as well. I mean, if you're not within the budget, sorry buddy, you're out. So what does this really mean for you if you're dealing with an outside recruiter? Well, first of all, your resume needs to be tweaked just enough. Just enough content needs to be on your resume, but not too much, because you don't want to give reasons for the recruiter to filter you out or rule you out. You just want to give them enough information to get a sense of who you are, what you're about, and what you bring to the table so that they can shortlist you and set you up for a phone interview. And you should be easily marketable as well. So your resume needs to give a strong idea of what you are. For example, you have to tell me what's your shtick. Are you the seller? Are you a connector? Are you the business-minded compliance person? Or maybe you're like the customer service guru. It's so critical that your resume gives just enough detail to make this conclusion and no more than that. At the end of the day, you really want to make it easy for the recruiter to sell you to the company. The technical functions, the details, the technical experience that you have can come later in the interview. And when you think of the recruiter as your audience in mind, like let's talk about salary for a second. I mean, if you ask for too much, you're out of the budget, right? You're being way too ambitious, and as a result, they'll use that and screen you out and just look for the next guy on the list. So what this means is that this early stage of the game, you just have to give a number, a salary number that is welcomed by the recruiter. That might mean a number that's lower in your particular salary range, but don't worry, because the key here, the whole point of this is to not get screened out. There are a lot more steps in the hiring process, and you can use those steps later to really nail down the salary that you want. So that's the game plan, the approach with a recruiter. But what about if you're dealing directly with the hiring manager, which is entirely possible? I mean, if you are doing the networking right, you will likely land a connection with the hiring manager, and he or she's going to ask you for the resume. Well, in this case, right away, your resume should consist of more functional and technical details along with your accomplishments, and to have a clear sense of what you bring to the table. This way, the hiring manager can actually sell you to his boss And because it's the hiring manager, the guy or the girl is actually experienced enough to understand the technical accomplishments that you bring to the table. They can understand the technical lingo, the keywords, all that stuff. They can appreciate what you bring to the company. Whereas if the audience happened to be an HR recruiter, a lot of that technical lingo, acronyms, they're gonna have no idea what that means. And when it comes to the salary, here, if you're dealing with the hiring manager directly, you can be a little bit more ambitious. Go after the salary range that you actually want, and now you can negotiate. I mean, the hiring manager has a better understanding of his team, how fast you're going to pick up your duties and learn things, and they're going to get a sense of the technical value that you bring to the company as well. And they know that they're going to have to pay a specific price for that. So the hiring manager can actually look at all of those things in unison and determine, okay, are you actually worth the dollars that you're asking for? And on top of it, they can actually shift some money around in their budget to pay for your salary. And don't forget, the hiring manager is going to have to supervise you, right? So he or she wants to make sure that you're coming into the company happy. They want to pay you the number that you're looking for. And I know the salary topic is definitely an important one, but you can see here, guys, just how the different audiences really influences the approach when it comes to selling yourself or asking for what you want. And when you make the mistake of using only one approach for whatever audience that happens to be in front of you, you're actually screening yourself out depending on who the audience is. Yes, to a degree, it's a little bit more work for you. That, I mean, if you're not getting screened out, if you're not getting rejected and you're getting offers in your inbox, it's totally worth it. Guys, just really quickly going back to the whole salary thing, I know that's a very, very sensitive and important topic for you, so you'll definitely want to check out my other video here on how to negotiate without negotiating. And I have way more videos to help you with the whole interview process that you can definitely watch here as well. Guys, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.